We are here talking Detroit Lions news and rumors for you folks today on the OnePride podcast. That's what it's all about. Make sure you go ahead and hit that like button if you haven't done so. Right now we got 28 popping in here. Smash that like button. It does help out. We're going to go over the latest Detroit Lions news and rumors live for you folks today. What is it all going to be about? Pretty much free agency, right? We're going to be talking about a lot of free agency here. Movement. We got movement around the NFL, and it does affect the Detroit Lions. Carlton Davis, we're going to get to him. It looks like he is definitely wanting to get paid. He has let it known. Can the Detroit Lions bring him back? Joey Bosa was a player that was released by the Chargers, being connected to the Detroit Lions. Does he make sense? We'll talk about that and other pass rushers, other positions, all about our beloved Detroit Lions. Appreciate Shift God in the building, Biffco, Devin Davis, and my guy, Raw Detroit TA. Appreciate you jumping in the building today. And, of course, at the we're going to be doing QA. We'll take all your questions, and we'll talk about it for sure. That's what we're doing for today's show. So let's go ahead and jump into it right now. As you know, around the NFC North, Jonah Jackson traded to the Chicago Bears, and the Bears traded for Joe Thuney. The mom says, check your email. And to Joe Thuney. And I literally just got a thing from my kid saying to check the email while I'm live. That is cray. It's cool if you want to see. She has something earlier in the day. You guys are going into the middle of the day. I can't really talk about that right now. I'll get back to it there. But anyways, we look at free agency, and there is a plenty of players for the Lions to pick up, and one just got added to that list, and Joey Bosa was released by the Chargers yesterday, and he's being connected to the Detroit Lions. Even before then, we've seen trade ideas from other websites, from other content creators. Being Joey Bosa would be a player that the Lions could look to trade for, and I said that'd be a terrible idea. Why? Because they're just going to release him. He was released. That is what it's all about. Is Joe Thuney washed up? No, he is not washed up. I actually think that they made a smart move there around the NFC North, and we're hearing about DK Metcalf potentially could be traded. Green Bay could be a destination, and that's something to watch out for. That's the one I would watch out for more than anything, because DK Metcalf's given the Lions defense some hectic because he's so big and physical. And we don't know what's going on really with the Vikings. Are they going to bring back Sam Darnold? Doesn't really matter. So we'll get back to the Detroit Lions here. So Joey Bosa released. Should the Detroit Lions look to sign Joey Bosa in free agency? He can sign, right? He is a free agent. What's up, Nine Drinks? Appreciate you, brother, in the building. And my friend James Janella, appreciate you. Should the Lions look to bring him in? Look, I think he is an option on the list of potential free agents the Lions could bring in, but I'm looking, first off, would I like him on this team? I'm not going to have a problem with that, but I want them to have a real plan at edge, okay? There is a lot of edge rushers on the market. Let's see what we can get with the best one, right? I don't think we're going to get – the trade's not happening with Max Crosby. He signed the 3-year deal. I've been saying this for a while. It's not realistic. Myles Garrett – extremely unrealistic with Cleveland, right? If there is a team, you could look at Washington or Detroit, but it's just unrealistic. Trey Hendrickson, unrealistic. T. Higgins was tagged, still unrealistic. So you look at the options of the free agent market, or it's the NFL draft. That's realistic. And Joey Bosa would be a player I think that the Lions could get, and it wouldn't be unrealistic regarding price in contract. Same with Khalil Mack. It would be a little bit high as price, or I'm fine with that. But let's look at all the options and fix this edge position, okay, and have a plan for the draft. That's what I'm saying. Not just one player. We need to have multiple players on the defensive line. I know there was injuries last year, but we need to prep to win a Super Bowl. And you must have pass rushers to do that. We've talked about it. We have talked about the trenches endlessly. It has helped our offense. Let's now finish the trenches for the defense and get after the quarterback. That's what we're needing here, right? So whether it's Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, whoever, Joe Mablow, we need to have a good options for that pass rush. And so would I be okay with Joey Bosa? Yes, depending on the contract. I totally understand he has an injury history. And I heard Mike Valenti talk about it. Do you want to get plan A or plan B? I agree. We would all love plan A. But it takes two to tango to get a player of Myles Garrett. And right now, there's no two to tango. So you have to look at the options that we have. And if you get a Joey Bosa, that means we need to get a pass rusher too at the 28th pick. And you're really putting a lot of talent on that defensive line. Joey Bosa, a guy who played only 14 games last year. So going into this, I understand he is an injury-prone player. So that means, yes, I don't mind having him, but we need to have other options as well because we got to count on the idea that he's not going to be fully healthy. That's what I'm trying to get to. And yes, we'll get into Aiden Hutchinson, Devin Davis in a second. Max Crosby got paid a significant contract. He's now the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL. What does that mean for Aiden Hutchinson? Aiden Hutchinson is going to get a similar contract, longer. It's not going to be a 3-year deal. It's probably going to be a 5-year deal, and it's going to be mega contract. And I'm happy the Max deal got done now because now the Lions can look. They have an idea of what it's potentially going to be, and they can work on getting Aiden Hutchinson under contract at some point. The deal will happen. Don't ever worry about it. So I'm actually happy the Max Crosby deal happened. It gives us now a roadmap, and that's cool. He's going to get paid buku money. Expect it, understand it, deal with it at that point. Carlton Davis, speaking to the media, he wants to get paid, and he wants to get paid that money, and he wants that contract, and there's nothing wrong with a player who's a free agent wanting to get that contract. He went to social media, basically, pay me if you want my services. That's what he said. He's seen that comment. I don't think the Lions are going to get him under contract because, to me, what that means is it's probably far apart, and I hope they get him under. But it is now. I am pessimistic, and I was about probably 50-50 going into it. Now I'd say I'm about 40-60. There's going to be so many teams that's probably going to want to throw some money at Carlton Davis, i.e. Jacksonville Jaguars, because that's a team we've heard now multiple times. And I don't know if the line's going to be willing to match that. So this is going to be probably the biggest free agent move is what we do with Carlton Davis in free agency. And I don't know. Raw Detroit says Carlton Davis is gone. Brad Holmes will not give him what he wants. Yeah, I think he's probably gone. I hope I'm wrong. I have zero insight. I am just taking it from what I'm reading. So don't take my word as gold. I have zero insight in it. This is what I'm thinking that it potentially could be. So we'll see about that in free agency going forward. That's the biggest thing. So we could talk about the draft too, but let's keep it a buck. It's kind of, we got to really dive into free agency first to know what the line's going to do in the draft. And free agency is right here. So today, you want to talk free agents, probably the best way to go for questions, because I really want to, that is what's coming up within a week. So free agency is a big deal. Will the Lions bring back some players? Again, I don't think Derek Barnes is coming back. I think the Lions are going to go in a different direction. I went Jahad Campbell with the selection of 28, who can be a linebacker / pass rusher / everything. They can find other linebackers in the draft, Malcolm Rodriguez too. I think he is gone. Dan Skipper, I expect him to be back. Tim Patrick, I expect him to be back. I think the Lions could release Graham Glasgow, Kevin Zeitler. I think the trade with Jonah Jackson, as well as the other trade with the Bears, Joe Thuney, was they realized they weren't going to get at all Kevin Zeitler. So I think Zeitler is 100% coming back. That's my the only team I was thinking that could compete for Zeitler was the Bears. They're not going to do that now with those two trades. DK Metcalf, yes, he wants a new deal. He's going to get a new deal from another team, and that could be the Green Bay Packers. Watch for that, because it makes sense if, say, the Packers decide to send them a draft pick and a wide receiver, one that hasn't developed too well for the Green Bay Packers the last couple of years, and then they get DK Metcalf. That's kind of what I'm thinking, and that's the one trade that would worry me, because DK has given the Lions a lot of problems. And Carlton Davis, when we traded for Carlton Davis last year, I said that was to combat the bigger wide receivers, the bigger physical wide receivers like DK Metcalf. So this is something that we got to watch. This is a big thing. So if DK does come to the NFC North, what is the reciprocal move by the Detroit Lions? Because we need to get a big physical cornerback at that point. It's important, and make no mistake about it. DK's a big guy, and you're going to have to see him if he does. I'm not saying he will. If he does, that would be a problem. But the Green Bay Packers will be looking for big wide receivers. Just best believe if they don't get a DK, they're going to be looking for wide receivers in the draft too. They know that what's holding their team back is all these injuries to their wide receivers, right? And they had an injury to Jordan Love as well. So that's the thing there. I'm going to open up to QA, folks. If you got some questions, I may have some answers. Let's go ahead and open it up to QA. Let's get after it. I seen a question in here from my friend Devin Davis, and unfortunately that was not the right one. Let me, I don't know what happened right there. Let me get big comment. There we go. Now let me get Devin Davis's comment. If you got questions, put hashtag in the comment section. That's all I'll know. And then we'll answer it for you. Hashtag FGB. Is Hutchinson back to 100% yet? I don't know if he's back to 100% at this moment. He'll be 100% when training camp comes. He's pretty damn close. If not, he is right there. So, Devin, don't worry about Aiden Hutchinson for the 2025 NFL season unless something were to occur differently or now and then. Paul Ginder, smash that like button. OnePride. Smash that like button, absolutely. We got, I don't even know how many people in the chat right now. We got 77 in the chat with 24 likes. Smash that like button. How do we get number 3 from New York? You don't. We're not trading up to the number 3 pick. You would have to give up everything. The Detroit Lions are absolutely not going to do that. We don't mortgage the future. We haven't mortgaged for Myles Garrett. We haven't mortgaged for anything under Brad Holmes' tenure. The highest was trading from 32 to 12 of a trade. Obviously, we traded for the Jared Goff trade. That was big, but that was because Matthew Stafford requested to be traded. So, James Janella, hashtag Lions Talk by Chat Sports. Do you think Brad will bring in Darius Slay for a look? James? Don't know if they will. Don't know. I don't know. I know there's interest from Darius Slay. I don't know if there's interest from Brad Holmes. Remember, we drafted Ennis Rakestraw. We have Terrion Arnold. We don't know what's going to Carlton Davis right now. I guess if they strike out on other corners, he could be an option. I think they'll look at other routes first. He could be an option if the back out route, but I don't know if he has real interest in him. I haven't heard anything legit or not on that. Between sitting in the draft or trading up for trading down, is sitting still the least likely thing to happen? Yeah, why not? Why is it the least likely thing to happen? We trade a lot. Brad Holmes trades a lot in the draft. I'll say it's the least likely. We've traded, how many times I think we've traded, for at least in the first round, we've traded twice. So I will say least likely is staying in the spot. Let me get to Mike. Have you checked out the film on Nebraska's Ty Robinson and Mikael Williams? I want both these guys on the defensive line. I have not seen it. I will check it out. Oh, hold on one second. Getting hit up again. Oh, at the same times. Let's see here. Thank you. I heard some crazy stuff via internet. What did I don't know what you heard in the internet, but it's probably crazy lies. Let's see here. Draft Jaden Higgins or Savion Williams. You know me. I do like the bigger-bodied guy, so if they can't bring in Tim Patrick, and I fully expect them to bring in Tim Patrick, and that's why I'm not really talking about wide receiver too early in a draft at all. I'll go with Jaden Higgins, but I think Tim Patrick will be back. If they bring back Tim Patrick, we're going to be looking probably to, if they want to get a wide receiver in the later rounds, I wouldn't see any significant early at that point. Smash the hole. Do you think that we need to stop getting these older injury-prone players? Devin Davis, yes. Do I think they're going to stop? No. You know me. I've been talking about it for years. Raw Detroit, too. One thing is I'm not a big fan of getting injury-prone players. Brad Holmes disagrees. He is the general manager. He is smarter than me. He is the general manager, and I will defer to him on this. But I prefer to get the healthy guys. I honestly prefer to go through the draft on nearly all the process. I'm not a big free agent guy. I prefer getting supplemental players in free agency. We're talking about backups. We're talking about second and string for free agency. I'm more big on focusing on the draft and building your roster. With that said, this is a big free agency period because we got to bring back our own guys, and that's the biggest free agent moves that's going to happen in this period is Carlton Davis and Derek Barnes. What is going to happen there? So if you're expecting the Lions to go out there and have a significant free agent sign these guys, it's not going to happen. It's going to be backups and depth players. That's what it's going to be. Yeah, I know. That's why I said it's not the Lions aren't going all the way up or anything like that. If the Lions do a trade up too in the draft, it would probably be for defensive player. We're talking defensive line. That would be my guess. Trust me, folks. Brad Holmes, Kelvin Shepherd, they know the defensive line needs work. I told you last year before the draft that in free agency, I said the Detroit Lions going to fix the cornerback position. It was devastated. This is the year they fixed the defensive line. They're going to put resources there. I don't know who fully, but they're going to put a lot of resources there. We're going to get it. I have no insider insert. Yeah, he's perfectly fine, J-Rod, so whatever they're saying, I don't know. Who do you say was playing opposite of Hutch? Who would I want or who do I think? There's two different things. What I want is going to be different. What I think that Brad Holmes will do. I want the big move. That's me. Because I want to fix the defensive line or, even potentially trade up in the draft. Like, I really want to get a bona fide blue chipper. That's not going to happen. What I think they're going to do, what I hope they're going to do, this would be perfect for me. They go get a Khalil Mack, right, or a Joey Bosa type, just somebody, right, just a name, and then they go in the draft and they invest the 28th pick on a pass rusher and the 60th pick on a defensive lineman. That's what I would love to see. And I would like to see them get maybe even double up on a pass rush in the draft at some point. And linebacker. Yeah, I know it sounds, Mike, it's always going defense. I get it. But defense is where the issues are having right now with exiting free agents. Carlton Davis, Derek Barnes. We have injury to Lee McNeil. We may not be back till halfway through the season. Marcus Davenport was a bust with injury. So we've invested. We need to keep investing. Yes, we need to address the offense too. We do got to address offense, wide receiver, offensive line. Okay, they can go other position, whatever. But we have got to fix the trenches, and they're going to do it. Would we be fine if the defensive lineman due to the Aleem injury? No, because Broderick Martin hasn't panned out. Defensive line, one thing I loved about Jim Schwartz, and I'm going to keep going about this, is we had waves of defensive linemen. Waves. We had a lot of them. We invested a lot in that defensive line, so in the fourth quarter, you still have fresh bodies in there. we've invested a lot in Broderick Martin. We traded up and he hasn't done anything. And I've been hearing rumors that he may not even make the 53. So we have to replace that, right? A production that wasn't there. Kyle Pecco, injured. Oh, Eli McNeil. Levi is a free. I think Brad Holmes is going to trade up between 14 and 17. I don't know if they trade up this year. Potentially trade up this year. I don't know. Your gut feeling could be correct. He literally could do it. We've seen it 100 times. So you're right. Like, it literally could do it. It's like we don't. Do you think that our new court, or will Dan keep the script? We're gonna have we have a new offensive coordinator that's not even from. Yeah, he worked with Ben Johnson. Don't think the world is gonna end if. All right, let's continue on here. True, I think the guy like Kenneth Grant, Junior Falls, Brad would try to snag him, potentially. I don't know if my internet is going bad or what's going on. Ad for me, I would like to see some trade up, get 4 or 5 picks. Ad for me, I would like to see some trade up, get 4 or 5 picks. 100%. Oh, we got the windstorm. Yeah, I apologize, guys. There's nothing that I can do about it. We got hit last night, and it's really bad. I may have to end the stream because I do apologize. There's nothing that I can do about this. And I was talking about it last night. I was like, dang, man, like this storm stuff just doesn't quit. And it's really bad here, really windy. So I do apologize. I'm gonna have to cut the stream short. I 100% apologize about that. There's nothing that I can do. I'll get videos up. I'll make up for this lagging, guys. With that said, folks,